Hello everybody. Now you don't need to be Inspector Clouseau to work out what today's video is about, but we'll move on and do that anyway. I'm out in the back of the plot at the minute, and if I just turn this way, you'll see the big tunnel behind me. This is how I term it, my engine room. Now every engine needs a key, and I'm completely surrounded in my key, so we'll go and have a talk about that. So the key to my engine room is compost. I use it to start plants in. I use it here on my no-dig beds. If you're not no-dig, you can dig compost in with your plants to help them grow. It's a great thing to lift your compost, put life into it, to lift your soil. Now, there are two types. This is just a general multi-purpose peat-based compost that I bought, approximately £5 a bag, and this is a peat-free one, and this one is actually the waste from a biodigester. So this is Biodigest 8, but it's a peat-free compost that you can grow things in, and it's a little bit more expensive. Now, I've said on many occasions recently, especially on a recent video, and I'll put a little card up here where I'm running a test on this new to me medium for growing in. You can have a look at that when you're ready. I think that the composting in this country is in crisis, certainly the compost industry as a whole. Now, I've looked up, done a little bit of research, and do you realise that last year the horticultural industry as a whole, so that's nurseries, garden centres, gardeners, everything, all of it combined, used 3 billion litres of peat. This stuff that's in here, 3 billion litres. Now that equates to 60 million bags, 50 litre bags. So that's a bag of compost for every man, woman and child in the UK. And that's a phenomenal amount. And all this is harvested, fetched over in lorries, and compost companies add their own additives, add trace elements, or a little bit of feed, or a little bit this, that and the other, or fine it down, mix it with some other stuff that they've got. And in the meantime, over the last sort of 10-12 years or so, peat-free compost has become more and more prevalent. And while peat is in the system, finding those ingredients for the peat-free companies to make decent compost hasn't been a problem. But when you consider that 60 million 50-litre bags will be taken out of the system next year, you can realise that peat-free composts as a whole are going to struggle. Now, some of them will have good contracts with people to get their waste and to be able to use it. This company make their own, straight from their farm. They make electricity, sell it back to the grid, and the waste from that they make into a compost. So companies like this are set. But many companies are going to struggle to find the ingredients to make into peat-free compost, and suddenly that pile of rubbish that's at the back of their yard somewhere that wasn't good enough to go in a bag of compost 4 years ago might suddenly be very attractive to them. And a personal opinion is I think that a lot of bags and a lot of new peat-free compost will contain a lot of rubbish. They will certainly contain much larger size items, because peat like this breaks down to a lovely fluffy thing very easily. More stout composting, bits of twigs and stems and things don't break down as readily until they're properly composted. So we're going to be left with a situation next year, I feel, where the peat-free compost, there'll be competition for the items to go into it, therefore prices will surge. Demand for those items will surge, and we'll find more and more rubbish in the bags of the compost, and we'll have to sieve them out to use the compost and then compost those items. So we're going to be paying more for less for something that we've got to work on before we can use it. But there is an answer to all this. You know, why do you need these bags in the first place? Why can't you make your own? This is my compost storage area. We'll go and talk about that right now. So I rightly called this is my compost storage area, because it's not yet a heap. All it is all the rubbish that I've pulled out, all the old plants from the beds, you know, that were overwintered, things like broccoli and kale and stuff, all went on there. Any plant matter I could find around the plots, old seedling trays and things, everything, including the compost, was all emptied into here. But it's not yet a heap. It's not capped off. I haven't watered it, I haven't turned it, I haven't done any of those things that you generally do with a compost heap. And what I'm going to do over the next month or so, I'm hoping to get a load of manure delivered, and I'll start to layer these ingredients up with layers of manure, layers of grass, layers of leaves, and make a proper composting heap. But how do you know how to do that? I mean, I could, in theory, just leave this for 2 years as it is, come back in 2 years, and there'll be a pile of compost, much, much lower, somewhere down here. But there would be a pile of compost there. But some of it wouldn't be composted, and some of it would be wet, some of it would be too dry, and it would be not the best in the world. It'd be good enough to spread on beds, but I've had to wait 2 years to take up that space. But if you compost properly, and if you use the right ingredients in the right way, and use the heap, and if you manage your heap, you'll get a compost out, a much better product, a lot quicker. Now here's where the crux of this video comes in. Tony O'Neill from Simplified Gardening has written a composting book. It's available in various formats: hardcover, softcover, Audible and ebook. And I believe that all of those will be on sale today, and there are various platforms and places that you can go and buy them from. You can even go to your bookshop, and if they haven't got a copy, they can request it for you. So you should be able to buy it everywhere, and this is the same worldwide, from your local bookseller or where you go to buy books online. Whichever country in the world you are, you should be able to buy it, if not request it and buy it, and so order it. And I'll put all the platforms that Tony's let me know that they'll be available on in the description of the video. Now, I've been composting right from the very word go, since my granddad showed me how he made an incredibly organised heap. And I must show you that at some stage this year, and I probably will do, but that will take some time to get together. But anyway, I've been composting all these years. Tony's book, I bought the ebook because that was available. It was only a couple of quid, so I bought that, and I've had a browse through, as you do, look at the various sections and looked at a few things. And within 5 minutes, I was learning stuff. Within 5 minutes, bearing in mind I've been composting all my life. So to me, that is pretty prophetic of how good that book is. And I believe today, by the time you're watching this video, they should be available for sale. I'm going to buy a hardcover as well, because I want it on the coffee table in my house. I want to be able to pick it up while I'm watching the telly and read about the bacteria that's in compost, or how much moisture content this item needs to go into a compost heap. So I've got a pretty good grounding of all that anyway, but you can never be too smart that there's not something else to learn. And as I say, I've already learned a couple of things. So my recommendation to you is that you go and buy the book, whether you buy it on the Audible as a book that you can listen to, or whether you buy it as an ebook or as a softback or a hardback. Just buy the book, because if you think about it, a bag of peat-free compost, I think possibly this next year will be retailing at 15 quid. That's roughly the price of a cost of Tony's book about composting, to make your own and make it well, and fully understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, which ingredients to mix and when, and how much water to put into it. All these things are classic, I wouldn't say mistakes, but things that people leave out in their composting process, and why it doesn't work for them. But with the information that Tony's got in his book, I can't see a reason why you would fail, and you'll be so much better, and so will your garden, your plants, your harvest. The whole thing will be so much better, and your pocket, your wallet, your purse, your handbag, all those things will be so much better, because you won't be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds, dollars, lira, yen, whatever, on buying compost that you don't need to buy, because you can make it at home. So let's say that's my advice: go and buy Tony's book. And well done, Tony, for writing it. I think you've done a fantastic job with that, from what I've read already, which is 5 minutes worth. So and I look forward to reading the rest of it. Now, I don't normally get involved in these sales pitches for various things. I try to limit what I do, but I felt with this book, Composting Masterclass by Tony O'Neill from Simplified Gardening, I just had to, because the book is that good. So anyway, that's it for now. That's my advice. Go and buy the book, enjoy it, and improve your composting as soon as you possibly can. But that's it for now. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.